You're never gonna make it, you're not good enough. There's a million other people with the same stuff. You really think you're different? Man, you must be kidding. Think you're gonna hit it, but you just don't get it. It's impossible, it's not probable, you're irresponsible. Too many obstacles, you gotta stop.
Alright, me podcast, you listen. You're listening to copyright-free music, hanging out with MC, my co-host.
Yo.
Alright, there he is. Sounding
welcome,
young and spry. Look at him. Anyways, today we're talking wrestling again. Wrestling. This is what this show be called. It should be called Me Podcast You Wrestle. Because we always get into wrestling conversations, and then we always bring in our special guest. The man, the myth, the legend, coming off of his run last week, trying to win. He's going for the championship strap. We welcome Ramrock.
Thank you, guys. Thank you always for having me. Always love being a part of the Me Podcast. You listen, love talking wrestling. Let's get right into it.
I got a question for you.
Ramrock,
Ramrock, does anybody ever come up to you and say, "We've heard you on Me Podcast, you listen"?
You know what? Actually, they have. They actually have come up to me and said, "Hey, I've heard you on." They didn't say Me Podcast, you listen, but they said Mark's podcast. So I know for a fact that they knew what.
Who the hell is Mark? We only got MC on this damn show.
MC.
That's our
Great.
own producer.
There goes the identity.
Yeah.
Anyways, they didn't say anything. They said, like, we really like that Coach JC guy. Son of a bitch, man. I'm going to talk to them.
Not that specific fan, but yes.
Did mention Coach JC, just another silent producer called Jamie.
Yes.
You know what's funny is I'm probably the size of a lot of these guys, and they don't even mention me. Might have to be a prize. Might have to do a surprise guest run in the ring and hit someone with the chair next time.
You know, I keep hearing that Coach JC looks surprisingly a lot like Logan Cage. You know, he used to be a former rival of mine.
My brother. Anyways.
Logan Cage, that relic of the squared circle, Logan Cage.
That relic of the squared circle in Flagstaff.
Yeah, Ramrock, I just had to take him to school and end that guy's career. So I wonder how he's doing these days.
That's right.
Alex Sage?
What?
He disappeared along with Alex Sage.
Yeah, Alex Sage, he's gone too. You know, that's what Ramrock does. He just ends careers, man.
He did. He ended the show in Flagstaff too.
AGE.
He stopped wrestling in Flagstaff. That's what Ramrock does. He just takes everything down.
Completely ended WWA. You know.
Yeah. Pastor Andy, no more.
He had a great manager in his corner, which ended wrestling up there.
Yep, absolutely. You know, but see, here's the thing. I didn't end the wrestling. You know, wrestling ended after I got beat for the championship. So, I mean, there you go.
Well, that's how you end it. You get beat, and you're like, you know what? We're not doing this anymore. And then you went outside. You made a scene. No one wants to do wrestling anymore. Because Ramrock lost his belt, and then they took it to Oklahoma or wherever the belt went, and it sat in a glass case until it was returned to you.
Wyoming.
In Wyoming?
I still want that belt back. I'm on a mission to get that specific belt back. You know, I asked for that.
He will not relinquish it. He doesn't want to give you it.
I think it's gone. I think it's gone, or it's sitting in someone's glass case in a trophy shop somewhere.
Pawn shop
at a church.
A pawn shop.
paid the bills of a church.
The tears of the sinners all over the belt.
We can't keep the lights on, but I can trade you this belt. How many more months of electricity can we keep on?
Is that solid gold on the belt? Yes, that's 6 more months of electricity for your church.
Does this belt say Aerozina on it? You can only give me 1 month's worth of electricity.
Your APS bill is paid.
Oh, Arizona. Oh, it slays
Good
me.
times. Good
Good
times.
times indeed.
So
All right. We're talking wrestling. We're talking the WWE Road to WrestleMania. But first of all, we have to talk about the death of a wrestler.
Yes.
Razor Ramon.
Bad news.
Rest in peace, Scott Hall. You were definitely, hands down, the greatest wrestler to never hold a world championship.
Never.
And quite frankly, didn't need it. Absolutely did not need it.
And the sad thing is he went in for a hip surgery and died. What the hell, man?
Yeah,
What the hell?
I mean, you know, I love Scott. Love Razor. He's an amazing wrestler, but he had his demons. There's no way around it. And unfortunately, those demons caught up with him too early. I mean, he was 63. That's not too terribly old. But
Well,
you know,
he went to,
That's not too old. He went what?
went like for hip surgery, wasn't it?
Yeah, he went in for hip surgery and he died.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Blood clot.
went in for hip surgery, had 3 heart attacks, and due to a blood clot. And I mean, they pulled him off life support, and he fought for hours. At least that's what I read.
Huh.
So he definitely went down swinging. But yeah, rest in peace, Scott Hall, man. Hands down, one of my favorites. That one hits really hard for me because, I mean, when I was a kid, I used to pretend I was the NWO. That was my favorite era, you know. And Scott Hall, Kevin Nash, and Hollywood Hogan, you know, those were my dudes. Those are my 3 favorite guys for a long time. So
Now we know how old Rocky is. Jeez. Do you remember watching him when he was Razor Ramon with the Razor's Edge MC?
Absolutely, I remember freaking. Sorry, that question was for you.
I know.
Yeah, I remember.
Way to take over, you big hog. I can see why you're trying to run your way to the belt. You're just like, you know what? I'm taking the whole show over. I'm gonna bust out my toys.
Way back in the day, I had rudimentary editing skills, but I sent in one of those things. I think to WWF Mania, I think it was called at the time, and I did like a Razor impression. I wish I could find the tape, or so. It was so long ago, it was VHS tape. But yeah, I think because of the dubbing, it was so bad they didn't air it. But yeah, I did my impression of the bad guy way back in the day, and we did some wrestling way back in the day, which in Illinois, and even pre-independent days before we were doing. It was a young, you want to name drop him because it's like, I know most people probably roll their eyes, but it was a young CM Punk way back in the mid-90s that we had known, and it was his LWF, he called it. He mentioned it on his DVD, and there was a brief little stint of me and some of my close friends were there, and we had a tag team. We called ourselves the Peligroso Latinos, and basically they were bad Razor Ramon impressions that we donned the gear, and we were from different parts of the Hispanic nation, and they were all basically bad impressions of Razor Ramon's Cuban impression. So, but
I don't even think his Cuban impression was that great.
He was basically what, Scarface?
Yeah, he was like doing an Italian.
Seen it? Yeah. So yeah, he was very influential to I think most wrestling fandoms. You know, everybody just loved. Because he embraced it. That was where he really kind of took off and gained his momentum. Obviously, Scott Hall and the NWO is, you know, which really exploded onto, you know, mainstream like that. But I think most of us that watched wrestling for decades upon decades knew him, of course, as Razor Ramon. And yeah, he made quite an impression on a lot of young wrestling fans, young and old, I should say.
Father, last night I heard someone real bad. Elaborate, my son. What provoked?
See how he sounds like an Italian? Your father.
Say hello to my little friend.
Yeah, pretty much, right?
I mean,
tax man, what a guy like me can do.
You know what I want him to say? I want him to say, "Hey, Mr. Carter." That's what I think he should say. "Hey, Mr. Carter." Here he is with his NWO. Here's the NWO.
Tico, I like it here. So say hello to the real Intercontinental Champion.
That's still WWF days, not this.
Yeah, he's talking to Nate. Who the hell's that guy's name? Oh, here you go. Here's another one. He always made me laugh.
Mira. Look at me, man. I know limping. Hey, Savage.
I'm telling you, I think that was his greatest moments was WWF, was it not?
Oh, completely agreed. WrestleMania 10. I mean, that very first ever ladder match.
I mean, I think that's his greatest moments is when he
before
he was in the NWO and doing all that stuff. I think he stood out a lot as a WWF Razor Ramon. Plus his physique alone. I mean, he was just a big dude.
Yep, dude was huge, completely ripped. Like he was the total package. He was entertaining. He had a great gimmick. Razor Ramon, hands down, definitely the best. His NWO stuff was good, but that was sadly, the downside of his career. But yeah,
here you go.
Love Razor
Here's
Ramon.
here's some NWO moments.
You want a war? Yep. Love this one.
Wait a minute.
Wait a minute.
I can't believe it.
Who is this big guy?
You people,
What's with him?
you know who I am. But you don't know why I'm here.
See, the thing I liked about it. What do you think about when he finally went out with Diamond Dallas Page in that show? Where he did his little what do you call it? His DDP yoga thing that they did. Do you think that helped him bring him back into the scene, or do you think that made him look bad?
I think that got him into the Hall of Fame because it got him cleaned up. Because, like Rock was saying, a lot of his demons caught up to him, especially in the later part of his career, but well into like after his career. And I think, a lot of those. I think they called him on camera during one of the, the redemption of Jake the Snake.
Yeah.
And they called him, and he just did not sound well at all. So they got him back on track, and I think that's why he got in the Hall of Fame while he was still alive, for sure.
Right. He looked pretty messed up.
The big surprise.
He was for a while.
I heard a lot of talk, but where's the walk?
I just saw Kevin Nash in that new movie with Ryan Reynolds in the Netflix, the A something, whatever it's called. Is that where I saw him? Oh, no. He's in the movie with the dog and guy Channing Tatum. He's in that movie. And he looks old.
Kevin Nash?
Yeah, Kevin Nash.
Kidding.
He's in that movie with that dog movie with Channing Tatum and that the army dog. And, dude, he looks old. He looks old.
Yeah, poor Kevin Nash. All them knee surgeries and quad blowouts have not done him any justice.
No. He's huge, but he looks pretty old.
Yeah. I mean, his glory days definitely was his WWF days as Diesel for sure. Kevin Nash was cool. I understand that that's going to be up for argument. Kevin Nash was cool, but personally, I was a Diesel guy.
Yeah.
I have to. I will disagree only for the sense of they're better versions. Clearly, for me personally, you probably would agree, are Diesel and Razor Ramon. I just think their popularity was through the roof. We really can't undermine the fact that whole NWO thing transcended everything wrestling wise and just catapulted that whole era into the stratosphere. They weren't my favorite versions of those two, Scott Hall and Kevin Nash, but clearly I think that whole WCW and NWO stuff, which was started by Scott Hall appearing out of nowhere in that one that Coach JC was playing just, a couple minutes ago, where he came out of the crowd wearing that jean vest, where he basically was still Razor Ramon, except wearing a jean vest instead, doing everything he did as Razor Ramon. But that whole WCW NWO stuff really catapulted everything for him.
That's
the survey.
You know who he
It
is.
changed wrestling. It completely changed wrestling as we know it. It went from cartoony superheroes to realistic, grungy, like more violent, more realistic stories. No more cartoony character names. Guys were coming out to their actual names. The perfect example was Razor Ramon. Now he's just Scott Hall. And it completely changed the business. And yeah, Scott Hall was one of the founding fathers of doing that. So absolutely, he on many occasions he's just he's a trailblazer and one of the greatest of all time to never hold a world title, which I still to this day say it's a damn shame he never did, but he didn't need it. He really didn't. He was extremely influential, and he was an amazing wrestler, an amazing gimmick. Didn't need a world title to get over, but still a damn shame he never got one.
No.
Yeah,
you know who he was. You knew who he was even without a world title. You know who he was.
Yeah, him and Jason Snake would be the top two, and maybe Mr. Perfect, I think, which was a good friend of Scott Hall, and his son had some good words for him as a family friend, because Scott Hall, Razor Ramon always would talk about how much influential Mr. Perfect was to him, and just I think he had one of the most underrated minds for wrestling. He was the one that helped Sting, do the type of, a lot of people don't realize he was influential in getting Sting to go into that kind of Crow version of his character from the Surfer Sting, and just a lot of great, I think, behind the scenes contributions. He knew what was cool. He knew what was hip. And I think Nash said that too in his, kind of his farewell goodbye to him tweet that a lot of people seen, which, kind of brought attention that he was not going to make it, just sad for sure. Great, huge influential wrestling, character, personality, backstage, just everything, to all of our wrestling lives, and probably whoever would be listening, everybody knows who Razor Ramon / Scott Hall was, and he'll be missed for sure.
All right, so we're talking WrestleMania. There isn't any more pay-per-views coming up until April 2nd, right?
No, they're no AEW because they had their Revolution, and we got the current card to run down. So if we want to get our special guest, the Ramrock's thoughts on some of these matches, and we'll start on WrestleMania Saturday was what it's called, and if you're ready, Rock, we'll run down the lineup as we have it right now.
Let's get some wrestling.
Now,
wrestling music first.
Before we
wrestling. All right, go.
Go ahead, Rock.
Before we run down the card, I just want to say that this is WrestleMania 38 now. This has to be the most lackluster card I have ever seen of any WrestleMania. Just throwing that out there for all the listeners right now.
So you're saying that this WrestleMania is the worst of all WrestleManias?
Not necessarily. We haven't gotten there yet, but the card is really boring so far. Like, really boring.
It's reflective of the times, unfortunately.
What are those times, MC? What are you talking about?
I just think it's very, you're talking a PG product with a very kid. It's always kind of has been, but I think it's a very safe product. That's what, when you have investors and stock, that's what WWE is, a very safe, sometimes generic, like Rock, borderline boring product, because it's a repetitive formulatic wrestling that they pump out. And if you watch, and I watch the replays on Hulu, so sometimes I don't get the full digestion of 3 hours of Raw, but basically it's a lot of the same crap regurgitated over and over, and it's tough to get through. I'm not gonna lie.
So is it because the matches are just like predictable?
there's not a whole lot of compelling characters. I mean, we talk about this a lot, even myself and Rock and stuff too, and we've had, conversations off, air. We talk about characters, everything. I mean, and, that's some of the stuff, and we'll get to it when all this stuff's done. We'll kind of let Rock plug his stuff going on in Arizona independent scene, but Rock has embraced the character. We've talked even on the show too. Rock has embraced character work, and you're doing a lot of the best stuff of your career because you're embracing the character and going full bore into it. And I think wrestling just needs those characters on TV, and all the best independent wrestlers that make a name for themselves are ones that are standout characters. And you see a lot of those guys being signed, like an Orange Cassidy, a Danhausen. Anybody that's got a strong character on the independent scene will be gobbled up because they're compelling. They're grabbing people to watch them. You want to see these characters, not two people in tights rolling around and who, without the character. That's essentially what wrestling is. And like, it's you need that opera in there. You need that play. Those storylines, everything's got to be character based. Otherwise, that's going to get real old watching two people in their underwear roll around in a mat.
So here's something that I'd like to throw out there for the listeners, and you as well, Coach JC. Think about this. Think about The Undertaker. Now, take away the music, the lights, the trench coat, the hat, and just put the man in wrestling trunks and throw him out in the ring with another guy. Do you think he would ever have achieved the same level of success that he did as just going out there wrestling and not embracing the entire character?
Well,
food for thought.
That's the part that what draws people into wrestling is the fantasy of surreal characters that are bigger than life doing something that you're not doing in your own living room and hanging out and pretending or doing whatever. You're watching it with all the flair and all the stuff going on. That's what brings the motion picture to life, correct? So
absolutely. So
when you don't do that, then it's just another wrestling show. And the thing is we're in the world of today where people break character. So now the illusion of whether or not they're really like this in person is no longer mystery because cameras are everywhere and it catches them doing things that's outside of their persona. So now the illusion is that night when you're wrestling and you're seeing somebody in there, this is when the movie starts and ends. So after the movie, most people know that the Ramrock's not like the Ramrock in the ring when he's sitting at home. So
wait, he's not?
No, he's not. So the thing is that you go to see a show, and if you don't get a show and you don't get tied in somehow, then it's not going to sell tickets for the next one. And so
that's absolutely correct.
So I agree with you guys that if the drama's gone and the acting's gone and all it is professional wrestling, then why would I spend $150 to sit and watch a match when I can spend $20 and watch my buddy Ramrock wrestle on a Saturday night and get probably more entertained by that? So if that's the direction that wrestling's going in, you got to forgive me, I haven't been watching as much, but if that's the direction it's going in, then they're going to lose. They're going to lose their audience.
Exactly,
and that's why you're seeing a lot of these guys come back. Pardon me, Rock. That's why you're seeing like a Stone Cold coming back here. They're trying to capture anything they can. I mean, The Undertaker literally can't wrestle anymore. Otherwise, you probably wouldn't see him on 2 or 3 more WrestleManias if he could actually do it. That's why I think he's been doing it so long, and that's why he's broken kayfabe, because you're not going to see him back. It kind of, pretty much writes the end of his career as an active wrestler. But he protected it with kayfabe for so long for that reason, that mystique.
So do you think that do you think NFL's suffering the same kind of image? Because, not to change subjects, but Tom Brady's back for another round of football. Do you think that the NFL's worried too that maybe they're not going to have enough hard-hitting stunning players that it's not going to keep people watching?
Well,
Maybe that's what wrestling's going through. Maybe wrestling's like no one's watching anymore, and our audience now is in their 40s. So maybe we need to bring back those characters so we can bump our audience.
That's a whole new show in itself we could talk about. But yeah, the NFL has made a very conscious effort to curtail a lot of those celebrations and taunting. And I think when you don't have the viciousness of it, because you can't hurt the quarterback, all that stuff, you're losing the whole identity of what a lot of people, it's bloodthirsty, and I'll agree with that. But that's part of the allure of stuff like the NFL and wrestling is people want that hard-hitting nature. That's why you see a lot more viciousness in wrestling. A lot of quote-unquote strong style became popular among the hardcore fans is because people want that illusion or that viciousness. And when you take away a lot of those elements, then you need to have those characters. You got to let those personalities shine through. Let them celebrate. They ain't going to hurt anything. The taunting, I seen a Bears penalty. The guy looked at the sidelines and they gave a damn penalty for that. And like, how stupid has the NFL has become to have dumb penalties like that?
So is wrestling getting away from that image that made them the hardcore era when they were the what they call it, the WWE when it was
Attitude Era.
Attitude Era. I thought it was trying to get in that. I thought it was trying to go back in that direction of being sexy and violent.
You won't see WWE do that as long as they're a publicly traded company. It's just that they have a certain set of advertisers that they get their revenue from, and they can't go to that dark place unless they legit had competition that was doing. That's what forced them to do it to begin with. And I just don't see at this point in time AEW is that competition. And they have a totally different product in a lot of ways. Vince McMahon's called them blood and guts, and AEW is going to focus on the wrestling portion of it. But I think AEW has suffered for their lack of characters too, because they have a few, but then they also have, when your owner is a fan of that strong style and that independent wrestling style that doesn't always focus on characters, it shows in their product. They feature a lot of guys and a lot of strong, buzzworthy wrestlers that he gobbles up and signs because he seems to have an endless pocketbook. But until you make an emphasis on pushing your characters to the forefront of your programming, you're going to be left with a lot of stuff that's just, after a while, it's going to become repetitive and boring. You need compelling characters. Without the compelling characters, the same thing like we were talking about, go back to WrestleMania here. Without the compelling characters, you're going to have longtime fans, myself, Ramrock. We're going to look at this card and we're like, this isn't really that interesting because you just don't have enough characters on this product that can hold the audience's attention. Now you got to have 2 nights of WrestleMania. You're filling 2 nights worth of cards, and you have a limited roster of compelling characters. It's just sad but true.
So I watched Monday Night Raw in its entirety for the first time in years last night because I really wanted to see the tribute and what guys what the roster was going to do for Razor Ramon, and I was just completely bored to tears. The opening of the show was Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins, and the whole premise of the show building to that main event was they're going to wrestle each other, and the winner gets a talk show with Steve Austin at WrestleMania. Like, a talk show, that's what you're selling me on? Like, really? I don't know. It's just gotten so bad. Like, I don't know. To me, I thought it was just awful. Like who cares about having a talk show with Stone Cold at WrestleMania? Like, just let Stone Cold go out there. We know he can't work. His knees are broken. Just let him go out there and stun Kevin Owens or Seth. Who cares? And drink a beer and walk away. We don't need to have a freaking talk show. We don't need to have all the hootie raw and have a match to determine who gets to interview Steve Austin. Like that's just how low of ideas that we have gotten.
Well, that's how they sold you on when you went on the when you saw it on social media. It says Kevin Owens talks Steve Austin to return to WrestleMania. Then you click the article, and you're like, well, he's going to wrestle again? No, he's going to talk in a microphone. They're going to do an interview. And it's like, son of a bitch, man. Right away, it sold me. I was going to click on it. I was going to watch it. I was going to be like, dude, I'll watch WrestleMania. I'll have to watch this shit. And then that.
And the truth is that's actually one of the more exciting segments that they have on WrestleMania, just because Steve Austin's going to be there. And man, that build-up though, poor Steve is looking pretty old.
Well, the problem with that is I think there's been some bandy about, and apparently there's some, I don't want to say heat what's going on, but there might be a request from Steve Austin not actually call it a match, because maybe he just feel like maybe he's not going to live up to the billing, which is probably why he's never wanted to come back before. But I know the lure of the Saudi Arabia paydays could make him earn on one show possibly almost as much as his whole career if he does any of the Saudi shows coming up after WrestleMania. But I mean, call it a street fight, a brawl, whatever the hell it is. Now you're relegating to call it a KO segment show. Just say, like, this is going to be a brawl between Stone Cold and Kevin Owens, because that's what it's going to be. That's what they're leading to. So call it what it is, and at least then you could promote it as such. I don't know why Steve Austin, WWE, can't come to agreement to just say, hey, this is going to be a street fight. All right, it's not going to be a match. Stone Cold's in wrestling really matches. Hey, he hadn't even in that tail end of his career anyways. There were brawls.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was just about to say. It was the tail end of his career. The guy really couldn't work anyways. His most technical move he could do was a backdrop. Otherwise, it was punches and kicks. And nobody gave a shit because it was Stone Cold Steve Austin. You come out, glass shatters, everyone loses their fucking minds. Like, it's Austin. You don't have to do anything.
Yeah. That sums it up right there.
So it's not. This isn't really selling me on wanting to buy this pay-per-view. I hope they're not paying you guys to sell this.
There is. Okay.
Let's go down the card first. Let's just go down the card.
Let's go down the card. There is some good.
We're like, damn. I would rather watch poodles dance with little outfits on than watch this wrestling event. I'd rather watch Young Rock the whole series in one sitting than have to watch WrestleMania.
Pillow fighting and WrestleMania.
Yeah, but I'd rather watch some pillow fighting.
Well, we got the matches, and we'll try our best to sell what we know from these, and we'll go from night one, which is Saturday, and then we'll go to what's announced for night two. So. And we'll let you be the judge, Coach JC, if you would actually pay your hard-earned money to go see this if you were given the opportunity.
I like that. That sounds great.
I will give you one of these. I'll give you a. Okay. Can you hear that? I would give you, if it's shitty, if it's worth seeing. And if we're in between. All right.
Sounds like damn.
Let's start.
The hyenas are out. All right. What's the proposed main event, which I believe is going to be the main event of night one? We'll just run it down. Charlotte Flair will defend her SmackDown Women's title against Ronda Rousey. Rock, what do you think about this one?
I mean, we've seen it, right? We've seen this before. She was in a triple threat. It wasn't last year. It was the year before, I want to say. It was a triple threat between Rousey, Charlotte, and Becky Lynch for the Women's Championship. And Becky Lynch ended up becoming Becky Two Belts, which was an awesome night. Awesome match. Now we're going to get a singles match with Rousey and Charlotte. I want to like Rousey just because of what she brings, the credibility, the UFC fighting, but I just don't. She's not Brock Lesnar. She's not entertaining. You know, you can tell she really struggles out there, especially on the microphone. And she just has apparently she's got a really sour attitude backstage, especially when it comes to like the fans. And I'm sure she's going to win. Charlotte has been just on a tear lately, and they're building this up for her to win. I don't know how long she's going to stick around afterwards. I can't imagine very long, but I'm going with Ronda Rousey on this one.
I would say the same. Ronda, I think, shares exactly what you were saying. Like the too soft on the mic. I think she pretty much wrote her own kind of negotiations to basically come back for this WrestleMania, and I think her 3-year deal has been truncated. I believe she'll end at the following year's WrestleMania. So there were the rumors that she might go away, but she says until we would decide to have another child, and she's not ready for that. I think it'll end with her versus Becky at WrestleMania 39 in Hollywood, which will be closer home in California anyway. So, yeah, I think you might see Ronda hold it for a year, and basically, Becky will, I believe, if she's back, and we'll talk about that match next. But I think you're going to see Ronda take this one too. I'm with you.
You want me to say something on this?
Yeah,
I'll say something on this.
You got something to add? Otherwise, we could go into the Becky.
Wow, cool. Wait a minute. The fuck?
There you go.
I was waiting for the sound effect.
All right, next.
So the next match is the Raw Women's Championship, which is featured. And this is weird that this is on the same night. I thought for sure this would be on night 2, but apparently, as of now, it's penciled in for night 1. Becky Lynch will defend her belt, the Raw Championship, and I think she's second to Roman Reigns and as far as 10-year champion, but she'll defend it against Bianca Belair in a rematch from SummerSlam. What do you got in this one, Rock?
Belair has to win. It just makes absolutely no sense for Becky to retain. They've been building the whole Belair loss in 30 seconds or whatever it was at SummerSlam. I don't see what people see in Bianca Belair. To me, she's just boring. Like I just don't get it at all. I just get the feeling that Bianca is there because there's nobody else. And like her, when she cuts a promo, it's like nails on a chalkboard to me. Like she just has that weird kind of like ghetto street talk, and she's not that great in the ring. She's not that great looking. She's just not that great all around. But it would make no sense psychologically wise or storyline wise for her to lose to Becky Lynch after all the buildup. So Bianca for the win.
Yeah, that's funny. I will disagree with you on that. I think she's been a victim of poor booking, which basically started when Becky Lynch beat her. I think she had the momentum. She had a great match with Sasha at last year's WrestleMania at 37, and I feel like she had a lot of momentum. And just like WWE does, normally they have a big star and they pull them back for whatever reasons they have. And Bianca lost all that momentum, and I believe she has everything it takes. She has the look, she has the athleticism, the strength, and she's got whatever, star power, the it factor. I just think she's been mishandled.
I'll give her the strength part. It was cool to watch her lift Dewdrop. That was a cool spot. Yeah. Besides that, I'm sticking to my guns. I'm not sold on Bianca Belair, but she's got to win the match. So
I thought for sure he's gonna have you say that shit again.
Screw you guys. I'm going home. But Corbin.
I thought for sure he was gonna have you change your mind, Rocky.
No, sticking to my guns on that one. We'll just have to agree to disagree, and that's okay.
Yeah, I thought he was gonna say, you know what? I agree with you now.
I like her. I think she's got a beautiful smile. I think she's got incredible strength and athleticism. I just think she's mishandled. I don't disagree with Rock on how she's being presented as a compelling character. I think maybe you turn her heel if you have to, if she's losing that. But I think all of her momentum was due to that, 16 set, whatever that was, loss, 8-second loss to Becky Lynch. I felt like you undid everything she did to kind of build her up into a upper tier talent, and then you kept her on the sidelines.
Yeah. She beat Sasha Banks at WrestleMania and then turns around and loses in 15 seconds. Like who cares about you anymore? You know what I mean? Now you're literally rebuilding from the ground back up. So is what it is.
We'll see how this is presented at WrestleMania. That's all we can do.
Yep.
All right, let's move on. SmackDown tag team match. We got the Usos defending their SmackDown tag titles against Shinsuke Nakamura and Freddie Mercury. I mean, Rick Boogs.
Oh, I honestly don't care about this match in the slightest. The Usos are going to retain.
I will agree with you there. I believe the lack of contenders, lack of pushing proper tag teams.
Great. Guys, I'm going home. But Corbin, we're trying to... screw you guys.
From an episode of South Park.
Screw you guys. I'm going home.
That's what it sounds like when you guys say these things. You know what? I don't know how to do it anymore.
Moving along. We got the Mysterios, father and son, Ray and Dominic, taking on The Miz with his special partner, Logan Paul. What do you think about this one?
I mean, it's pretty cool that they brought Logan Paul in, right? You know, that's what WrestleMania does. It's a celebrity. They always bring in celebrities, and he's a controversial figure. The Miz is one of, if not arguably the best heel in the business right now. And yeah, so this is going to be a fun match. I think Ray and Dominic are going to come out ahead. They've been kind of teasing the whole father-son thing where, like, maybe they're not on the same page, and maybe one of them will go heel, but I honestly just can't see either one of them happening. I mean, Ray has been a face his whole entire career. Dominic does not. He is just not nearly ready to have a heel run. So I'm thinking that, you know, they're going to have a happy father-son reuniting, and they're going to beat the evil Miz and Logan Paul.
And that's the predictable, safe route to go on. And I normally would have said that, but I'm gonna actually change my prediction just to be a
controversy.
I'm gonna say that Dominic will turn here. I think they need something ridiculously unpredictable to happen, even though it's kind of been thing. But I think you got to do some surprises and stuff at WrestleMania, and I think a Dominic turn is what this needs. And I don't know if he abandons them or whatever has to have happen, if he gets knocked off the apron early, but I'll go with Logan Paul and The Miz. It all depends on what happened last year, because they actually look at records. If you pay attention to that and your predictions, if you're actually doing legit predictions, look at if they've won a couple WrestleManias in a row, and I don't remember if Miz lost last year, they actually make a conscious effort to alternate people so they're not always winning and losing at WrestleMania. So if you look at that and what happened in the previous years, then I think you'll find the winners of this match, and I'll go with the turn. So that'll make Logan and Paul and The Miz the winners.
Sounds good.
Hell yeah.
Drew McIntyre versus Happy Corbin.
Ooh, this is actually a tough one, and this is actually one of the matches that I'm looking forward to. You guys know that I'm big on Drew Mac, and I'm big on Happy Corbin. A lot of people don't like Happy Corbin. I think it's extremely hilarious. Is the cheesy, albeit shitty, dry humor. It's so bad that it's funny, in my opinion. This is going to be a hard one to predict, because Happy Corbin's been undefeated ever since he went from Sad Corbin or Poor Corbin to Happy Corbin. But I still am going with Drew McIntyre simply because he lost at last year's WrestleMania. He did beat Brock Lesnar and win the championship at WrestleMania, but it was in front of no audience members. So can we really count that? It's not really a WrestleMania moment.
Sounds like some of our shows, MC.
I mean, I have wrestled in an empty arena with no crowd, and it sucks. It is awful. It is just kudos to them for being able to pull it off, but it's awful.
Color Castamania. Yeah, I got Drew, even for the simple fact that he lost last year to Bobby Lashley.
Yep.
So that's it? You got Drew?
I got Drew. And then the final match announced here on night 1, like we were talking, the KO show with Steve Austin.
Well, you didn't let me. You didn't let me give you my You didn't let me talk. I gotta give you my sound effect.
Hell yeah! Hell yeah! You're doing it good, buddy. Great job. Hell yeah!
There you go. That's mine.
Hell yeah would have been perfect for this one. The KO show with Steve Austin. One thing's for sure, we will see a stunner.
Oh yeah.
You think so?
Both guys do the stunner, so yeah, one of them's gonna do it.
Give me a hell yeah! I said, give me a hell yeah!
And there's no way they're gonna make Steve Austin look bad at WrestleMania in Texas. Not gonna happen. Steve Austin's giving KO the stunner, drinking his brand new American lager beer and dumping it all over him. Yeah, we're going to see a Stone Cold beer bath on good old Kevin Owens at WrestleMania.
What the hell other beer did he have? Did he have like Mexican beer or
IPA? Yeah, his first beer was IPA, and then his now he's coming out with a new beer called the American Lager or something like that. It's going to be a lager style, so should be good.
All right. Well, that finishes the night 1. So we got the night 2, which is another host of matches. I know, Rock, you're not a fan of the 2-night deal, but
I am definitely not a fan of 2 nights of WrestleMania. Like,
why do you think that? What do you think their ratings are going? You think their ratings are going to go up, or do you think they're going to go down having 2 nights?
That's such a hard question to ask because Vince McMahon is he's such a genius. Like, he obviously knows what he's doing, and this is like the 4th year in a row that we've had 2 nights of WrestleMania. So let
me ask you this: is the ticket price for WWE changed? Is it not $59.99, or is it going to be cheaper if there's 2 nights?
Let's look. What, Ticketmaster.com?
I didn't say WWE pay-per-view.
There we go.
Are you actually typing on a computer?
I am. Sorry, that's my
welcome to Barney Miller.
Typing with his horn.
That's my mechanical keyboard.
I didn't think you typed on there. I thought you just sent out squirrels to get the information because you're barbaric.
Yeah, I like the way you're thinking. Technically, the Ramrock would use a raven, but yeah.
Ramrock would be like, "Go find me the information." Yeah, that's right.
He's just headbutting the keyboard, hoping to get the result he needs.
With the push pen.
Smashing it. Ramrock smash keyboard. Get results you want.
Ramrock angry.
All right, so it looks like a fan package for 2 days is $914.
To go to the thing, right? Tickets?
Yeah. Now, parking passes only are $30 a day.
Only?
Yeah, only $30 a day. Let's see. The lowest I'm seeing here is $147, and that is probably for like the absolute nosebleed. You got to have binoculars to see anything. Yeah, that's the cheapest price I'm seeing.
So this is the go to the event. You imagine how much hotels are going to be?
Oh, so, hotels, flight, everything. Like, oh yeah, dude, you're looking at probably at a minimum of $2,500 weekend here. Minimum. Dude. That's a lot of money
or you could just pay your local provider to get the Peacock network, and you will get it for
$10.
I don't even think it's $9.99. It's like $5 now.
No, my Peacock subscription is $4.99. So
yeah, there you go.
I would much rather do that.
So you could stream it live on the Peacock.
Yep. Live on the
for
Peacock.
$4.99, no extra cost, but to go to it's $900.
Yep. For both nights.
Sorry, little Jimmy, we're not going to be able to pay rent this evening, and we're not going to get any food because Dad needs to go see Stone Cold Steve Austin dump his new IPA all over Kevin Owens.
You're not going to get a new pair of shoes tonight, son, because we're going to WrestleMania, and you will have to go without shoes for about 9 months.
I know you're cold because you don't have that new winter jacket you needed, and winter's late this year, but Daddy needs to go watch WrestleMania. So you and your mommy just huddle together until I get back. Maybe I'll bring you back a new championship belt.
You're not going to have any food for the next 3 weeks.
You've got kids.
You're going to WrestleMania.
You've got kids, Coach JC. Tell me, like, how much of a pain in the ass would it be to load up your little kids to go to this show? You got to fight traffic, fight parking, getting in the arena is a huge pain in the butt, waiting in all these long lines to get your hot dog and your beer, to find your seat. You're trying to hold your kids. Then you have to leave and get out and drive home and fight traffic. Then you have to do that a second night?
I will answer these questions.
Crap.
I will answer these
That
questions.
sounds miserable.
I will answer your questions, Ramrock. I will answer your questions. I have taken my children to 3 wrestling events. 3. But you know what? The good idea is when they're small, you just tuck them under your jacket. And you just, no, I'm just lying. So when they're tiny, you leave them in the arena. That's what I would do. At the end of the show, just give them enough food for overnight. Hold your seats. Tell them that if anything's left out on the announcer's table thing to grab it, and you'll be back in the morning. So my suggestion is you just get a hotel room close by so you can walk and skip the parking. And 2, it's usually you bring the kids, they can fend for themselves. They can usually walk. You don't have to carry them. You're not bringing infants to WrestleMania. But I think that it would be something cool.
20-year-old kids on his shoulders. As he
carrying my 24-year-old. I pick him up. Come here, buddy. Are you scared?
Did the pyro scare you?
Are you afraid? Somebody's dressed.
20-some-year-old kids in a stroller and wheel them into WrestleMania.
Someone's dressed up like Hawk from the Road Warriors. It's okay. Come here. Anyways, I don't know. I mean, it would be no different than taking them to other events. I mean, to me, it's a once-in-a-lifetime deal if you're going to spend that much money. But what was it, $900 for one ticket, or was that a family pack?
No. That's for one ticket for 2 nights.
Yeah, you wouldn't even be able to afford to take your family. So
at that kind of price, it is like a once in a lifetime thing. Like, you get one WrestleMania and that's it.
But according to you, this is not the time to spend that much money because this one's gonna suck balls. So I would not spend $900. I would not spend $1,000 to watch this WrestleMania. Would you spend $500?
No.
Would you spend $300?
I would spend $300.
All right, there you go. It's a $300 event.
I wouldn't spend $900 for 9 WrestleManias in a row.
Oh,
there you go. Okay, that sounds good.
You would spend $900 for 9 WrestleManias?
Correct.
You have a lot of faith that in 9 years from now you'll be alive.
Roman Reigns will still have not lost the championship.
They just brought back King Kong Bundy's kid to the last WrestleMania.
What you're gonna say is corpse.
I was gonna say that. It's a family show.
Apparently.
All right, wrap it up, man. We got some more. We only got 5 more minutes. Let's go.
All right.
WrestleMania Sunday.
Really quick, on night 2, Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar, who's taking home both championships, Rock?
Roman Reigns, no question. Brock never stays after WrestleMania. Makes no sense. Roman is on a tear. Roman Reigns keeps the belt.
I agree. Women's tag team titles. Queen Zelina, Carmella, Sasha, and Naomi, Rhea, and Liv. Who you got? Who's walking out champs?
Come on, Liv and Rhea. Please, please. Those girls need this, man.
I'm going with Sasha and Naomi. I don't think Sasha's ever won at WrestleMania, right?
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. She is the reverse Undertaker.
Yeah, the reverse Undertaker, the backwards Undertaker. This will be the celebrity match of the day. Johnny Knoxville and Sami Zayn. Sami
Oh,
lost.
man.
I thought this was going to be a title match, but apparently not now.
I absolutely
Did you say
love
Johnny Knoxville?
Yeah, Johnny Knoxville versus Sami Zayn. So I had this conversation. I know we're short on time, but I had this conversation with the SCW locker room, and I love, as much as I love Knoxville, and I think it's going to be a fun match. This is a match for SmackDown. This is not a WrestleMania match. But regardless, it's on the card. Going with Knoxville.
I'm going to go with Zayn. Coach JC, you got your sound effect? Pat McAfee, Austin Theory, the pet of Mr. McMahon. Who you got?
This match is so dumb. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna have to go with Pat McAfee, just because he's just so over the top. And truth be told, Pat McAfee reminds me a lot of Coach JC. I really enjoy his commentary work. I love like he gets so into it, and I could just totally see Coach JC doing a lot of the things that he does. Pat McAfee's awesome. He seems like a cool dude. I enjoy his talk show as well. So I'm going with Pat McAfee. I'm not sold on Austin Theory, although the F5 off the Elimination Chamber was amazing, super cool bump. But besides that, he hasn't done much. Pat McAfee.
I got A-Town down on that one. Austin Theory is my pick.
Why?
Couple more. This is a huge one. This is probably my most anticipated match. Edge versus AJ Styles. Who do you got?
Definitely agree. This is the match I'm looking forward to the most on the card. Definitely going to go with Styles. This new rebranded Edge thing, I'm not digging it. I'm just not digging it. I see what he's trying to do, and I appreciate what he's trying to do. He's trying to reinvent himself. Jericho has always been successful at reinventing himself. Edge, I'm not feeling the new music. I wish I'm not feeling the dark, Undertaker vibe. The promos are weird. He's trying to be too wordy with them. I wish he would just go back to the rated R superstar heel Edge that we all love. The freaking, the nasty, cheat, do whatever it takes to win. That was the heel Edge that I just loved. This new Edge is, I don't know, just not digging it. So AJ Styles for the victory.
New Edge has an edge.
New Edge. Not feeling new Edge.
This is who this is who you think I sound like? Oh, shoot, doesn't work. Never mind. Take it back.
So when Pat McAfee gets up on the announce table and he starts dancing to Shinsuke, I can just totally see you doing that, JC.
Coach JC, two matches behind.
Hey, shut your ass, dude. I'm trying to look at this Pat McAfee. Why don't you shut up, mister? You just agree. You're just agreeing everything with Rock says. Yeah, I agree with you too, Rock. Now you're gonna agree. Last time you're all like, yeah, I don't disagree. I'm gonna kindly disagree.
Yeah. Hey, if you're the producer, you said we have to be more conflicting. There it is.
I'm the producer. Oh, I get it. Okay. I'm the producer of the Me podcast. You listen, featuring MC. Here it is.
I love doing this show.
Do I need a pen or something?
You probably do, sure.
Yeah.
So, and that's where you normally are. It's and I know you love what we do. And you're a part
This
of
is where Vince McMahon gives him a shot at WrestleMania.
In the organization, really enjoy you, and fans all over the world really enjoy you being in the ring.
All right, none of this shit sounds like Pat McAfee. Forget it.
That would be a dream, obviously. And by the way, there's been a lot of chatter on the internet about me getting back into the ring and wrestling at WrestleMania. And I've had so many
he sounds like the dude that used to do the trades. The used to do all the stocks. Anyways, all right, keep going.
All right, got AJ on that one, and we got a couple more matches. Just RK Bro. This is an undetermined night match. They're facing the Street Profits. I would much rather have seen actually Orton versus Riddle, but apparently they're making too much money in co-merchandise, so I don't know. I got RK Bro. Who you got?
2,000% agree. Oh gosh, like I why? But yeah, RK Bro, Street Profits. Who even knows who they are? Who cares? RK
And
Bro.
that
I don't even know who they are.
Who cares?
poor Big E broke his neck on a nasty looking bump. So get well to Big E. That's going to take him out of WrestleMania. So the New Day will only be 2, and it's rumored they might still be facing Sheamus and Ridge Holland with the Pete Dunne rebranded and under the new name Butch. I don't know which ones they're going to wrestle, but apparently the New Day will probably wrestle in this one. If this becomes official, Ramrock, you got a winner in that one.
I think Ridge Holland needs to stay as far away from TV as possible. Big E is extremely loved by the wrestling community, by the fans, by the boys backstage, everybody in the world. I think if Ridge Holland goes straight back on TV, it's going to get really nasty heat. I don't think it's a wise move for them to put him in there, but if they do, New Day's got to win that. Just because of everything that Big E has gone through. That injury was nasty. And if he wasn't as athletic and as strong as he was, he would have been dead, hands down. Absolutely terrifying, gut-wrenching to watch. All the best to Big E. So happy he doesn't need surgery. Definitely praying and wishing nothing but the best for him and a speedy recovery.
Yeah. For sure, that was nasty looking and could have been a lot worse. Thank goodness he's not laid up. He said in his own post, he had a positive attitude. Said he has all his movements and all of his digits. So yeah, good. Get well soon to Big E. Hopefully he makes a full recovery.
Absolutely.
So that runs down the card. I know whatever time we might have left. Rock, you want to just kind of plug what's going on in your career and wrestling there in independent wrestling in Arizona? Go ahead. You got the floor.
All righty. All the listeners, please tune in, like, subscribe, share everything to Sonoran Championship Wrestling. That's SCW. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Sonoran Championship Wrestling is the home of the Ramrock. We have been doing the Stormfront series, so that's every Saturday in the month of March. We've been done Stormfront Day 1, Day 2. This Saturday, Stormfront Day 3, we are crowning the very first ever Sonoran Championship Wrestling heavyweight champion of the world. The match is going to be Pete the Heat Petrocelli versus EJ Sparks, winning the March Radness tournaments. And so you're definitely not going to want to miss that. And then we're ending the Stormfront series on March 26th, also at Tempe, Arizona in Sun Studios. And we are going to have the one, the only TJ Perkins versus our very own Thugnificent. It's going to be a phenomenal match. You are definitely not going to want to miss that event. As for the Ramrock, this Saturday, it's at Day 3 Stormfront. I am going to be in a tag team match with Ryan Riven taking on the newly formed Moonshine Madness. That is Donnie Palmer and Mikey Caldwell. Apparently that rabid dog, that freaking crazy piece of crap Mikey Caldwell didn't have enough beating. And that dirty American piece of crap redneck Donnie Palmer stuck his nose where it didn't belong. So I'm looking for some payback on that. Ryan Riven was out. He wasn't available, and they took advantage. They cheap-shotted me, and I'm going to make him pay for sure. I'm going to finish the job and put that crazy rabid dog down this Saturday. As for the 26th, after I'm done with those pieces of crap, I'm going straight for that big man Capane. That guy has just been a thorn in my side ever since I've come back. I've been back in wrestling for 6 months. I can't get this guy out of my life. So come the 26th, I'm going to put him down and move on. And it doesn't matter who wins that SCW Heavyweight Championship. I don't care if it's Pete the Heat. I don't care if it's EJ Sparks. That championship is going to be mine, and that will be whoever wins this Saturday. That will be the shortest championship reign in the history of SCW. So congratulations, guys. You made it. Enjoy your week or whatever as champion. Ramrock's taking it home.
So that is actually starting this Saturday, right, Ramrock, at the Sun
That is
Studios.
this Saturday.
Sun Studios. Check out the Ramrock as well as the other SCW wrestling in Tempe, Arizona at 1425 West 14th Street, Sun Studios of Arizona. I believe the doors open at 5. Bell goes at 7. You don't want to miss live wrestling when you can. So make sure you check out and support independent wrestling here in Arizona, or whatever state you're listening from. And make sure you check out Me Podcast You Listen on YouTube. Subscribe, check it out, ring the bell, do whatever else you got to do to keep listening as we wrap up Me Podcast You Listen. MC, you got anything else to wrap up?
Oh, I just want to see the Ramrock pin Capane's head on the wall.
That's what we want to. So thank you for listening to this episode of Me Podcast You Listen, the road to WrestleMania. Ramrock, thanks for coming out. Stay safe out there and win that belt.
Thank you, guys. Have a good night.